how to best get information out there. He has a lot of great ideas and been working hard on trying to find a good solution here. And appreciate you being here to give us all a presentation today.
Thank you.
And you did real well on your crash course from IT from last week on setting that up.
Right. Let's see if everything can work.
You have to turn the TV on.
Stacy.
You see it? Yeah. I tried to cut her out of the process by taking this from you.
Can y'all see it? Is it?
No, it's not on there yet.
You have to go around to the front too. Yeah. It's all.
Okay.
It's good, man.
Okay. There we go. All right. Good morning. So I titled this "The Future of Emergency Messaging" on purpose, because when you talk about the future of anything, to me, it's exciting and it's optimistic. Like the future of cars, the future of planes, my 10-year-old's future, what that looks like. To me, that's exciting. It's optimistic. And what I'm about to discuss is very exciting and optimistic for our staff. And I think it will be, for the citizens of Houston County. So to go through some terminology, and this is something that may be very unfamiliar to you, but it's kind of things we deal with a lot. So the Integrated Public Alert Warning System, or we call it IPAWS. And what that system is, it's managed by FEMA. It's been around a long time. Really, it's been called that since about 2006. But the use of these types of systems have went on back into the 60s and even to the 50s. So back during the 50s and 60s, during the Cold War, they needed a way to alert the public on a large scale, which was through the TV. So the two parts of Integrated Public Alert Warning System, or IPAWS, the first one is Emergency Alert System. So that's what, if you see once a month on your TV, it pops across and it says, this is a test of the Emergency Broadcast System. So that's again, been around for many, many years. Even it being called Emergency Alert System has been around 49 years. So it's something that's been around. It's because back then, and even, up till probably 20 years ago, that was the best way to communicate with people, was through TV, and it even goes through radio. So the other part of the IPAWS is the wireless emergency alerts. And that came about really in 2012. So that coincided with really, not that cell phones wasn't around until then, but the technology increase in cell phones and what they could do and the GPS capabilities. So emergency alert system, again, is just a message through the TV or radio, where wireless emergency alerts are through your cell phone. It's a system that can geographically locate, and it's anywhere in Houston County. We can draw a shape, a circle, a polygon, whatever we want to draw, and every person inside of that shape will receive the same message. So it's a very important, very exciting thing. So when you get permissions to do that, and it kind of starts through FEMA. Once you get the permissions through FEMA, then you go find a vendor per se that can use this. There are 1,600 alerting authorities nationwide. So all over the country, there's 1,600 people like us that can do this. And there's really only 45 in Alabama. And then when you take away, the state, EMA, and then DOT, really, there's 42 counties out of 67 counties that can do this. And we are one of them. So it's something I'm very proud of, and it's something I think we can use in different ways in the future. Okay, so going with some more terms, I'm going to drop some more terms on you. So this is going back to the terms alert and notification, which is very prevalent in, I call the nuclear world. Plant Farley, we have a couple of representatives with us today from Plant Farley. And alert and notification mean two totally different things. So alert is the process of providing a warning signal to the public at risk, indicating the need to seek additional information regarding an emergency event in progress. So an example would be the weather siren. The weather siren goes off. It doesn't tell you exactly what to do. It just goes off. So what we found is, the age range of anybody, usually 40 years or older, knows exactly what to do. Go ask a 20-year-old what to do when the weather siren goes off and they don't know. Okay. So another example could be your cell phone ringing. And I brought this up to Chairman Shoup as an example. If we were under a tornado warning and I said, this is the deal. Anytime I call you, we're under a tornado warning. But when you pick up the phone, I won't tell you anything. That's not a great deal. It's just not. So we want to have the alert and the notification pieces together. So again, an alert, it's your cell phone ring. So it could be as simple as your wife calling. You know you have to answer the phone, but there's a couple different options. Either you're in trouble or you have to pick up something from the store on the way home from work.
Yeah.
You don't know. You have no idea what it's going to be until you answer that phone or until you read that text message. So after alerting, we have to have a notification piece. So the definition, informing the public about the nature of the event and any protective actions. That's reading the text message or listening to a phone call. So in any messaging we do, we make sure we want to have both pieces present. Okay, so another term that's very important to us in messaging is concise. It's communication that is brief, clear, and packed with information, omitting unnecessary details, filler, and redundancy. So it's very important for us to have concise information that we tell people exactly what to do. And these are some examples of things we would tell people in an emergency message. So we want to know the who, the what, the where, and the when. We want to communicate that to the public. So who is it from? Is it from the National Weather Service? Is it from Plant Farley? Is it from EMA? Who is it? And what is it? So is it a tornado warning? Is it a flash flood warning? Whatever it may be. What can it do? There's actually 3 what's in there technically, but to say who, what, where, when doesn't sound right. So I think who, what, where, when sounds better. So anyway, so what can it do? It can produce damaging winds. What action should the citizens take? So telling them exactly what they need to do. Take cover in an interior room of your home. And then the big thing for everybody is, where is it? Where exactly is it? And that's a disadvantage that sirens can't do. Because if you didn't know, the technology we have on sirens is about 30 years old. We cannot geographically locate and only activate certain sirens in a certain area. They're all going off. So if there's a tornado in Cottonwood, the ones in Wicksburg are going off too. So that's the advantage of having that cell technology. So the last thing is when, and when is it over? Meaning the Weather Service can project how long the system will take to move through, and we can say the tornado warning expires at 4 o'clock. So over the last 2.5 years since I've been here, we went through a few different vendors that have that technology, and we had some issues last year with a vendor where pretty much their entire website crashed. We weren't able to use it. So now we have just moved, and this is as of like right before Christmas last year, middle of December last year, we moved to a program called Regroup. All right, so this vendor can do a lot of things, and it really can do, so much more than we've had before. So it can send those wireless emergency alerts to cell phones, and I mean anywhere in Houston County. Anywhere in Houston County, I can draw a circle, draw a square, whatever I want to draw, send a message to all those citizens within that shapefile. It can send an emergency alert system message to TV and radio. It can do that. The disadvantage to that is once you send that message out, as you know, TV and radio coverage goes way outside of Houston County. So it could be sometimes up to 50 miles outside of our area. It can send emergency messages through weather radios. So we have that ability. And this is all through this laptop, my iPad, or my phone per se can send out all this stuff. And a new feature that we found in this system that's actually better than the other ones is it can send, and that's why I think they named it Regroup, but it can send group messages to Houston County residents that have signed up. So our old system, if you remember, was called Code Red. We were able, when it had an issue, we were able to export all of those files out of that system into the new one. So we can send messages to anybody that signed up previously, and we can add them in the future. And also what it can do is a neat feature. We can make groups within this system, for public safety, school systems, commissioners, department heads, whatever we want, mayors, whoever we want, and we can send out a message to email, text, also giving them ability to respond back to say, hey, is everybody okay in this area? You can respond back 1 for yes, 2 for no, and we can kind of get some feedback on that information. So going back to cell phones. Cell phones are your most valuable resource during severe weather. You can receive the alert and the notification. Your phone rings and you pick it up. You hear the text alert and you look at it. And, I hear a lot of things when we go out and speak to senior centers and other places. Some people may not have that availability for a phone, and that's okay. But even if you have a flip phone, you can receive the same message. So I think anybody in this room cannot deny that they keep their phone in their pocket, their purse, by their bed each night. I mean, it is, we had some issues a few weeks ago with Verizon going down, and it was a full-blown panic. Nobody knew what to do. On that subject, even if we had Verizon go down, this technology that's sending out those messages, if you have a Verizon phone and it goes down and you're standing next to a T-Mobile tower, it will send that message to that T-Mobile tower to your phone. It's a government type alert, and it will force that message any way it can to get into your phone. So, and I'm not sure, I might need to check with press, but I believe this is a law. If your battery gets to 10%, you must find a charger. I'm not sure. I gotta do some research.
Criminals in my house.
So that is a panic. I know that. Okay, so let's go back. This is going back to last year. So if most people are familiar with, we receive any kind of advisory, watch, warning from the Weather Service. We do not determine whether it's a tornado. We're not meteorologists or any other kind of ologist. We do not make those decisions. We get information from the Weather Service. We relay that information on to the public as they need it. So going back to the Dothan Prep tornado, this is kind of where, this all started, was we were not notified in time of that Dothan Prep tornado. Pretty much it was on the ground whenever we knew about it. So typically we have a 10 to 15 minute heads up. Hey, this is coming, and we can give time for people to prepare and for people to take cover. So some times right here, it was on March 31st, 2025. It touched down at 12:31. I don't have this time on there. The time we were notified was 12:32. And then it dissipated at 12:35. So within it being on the ground and it being gone in 4 minutes, it had traveled 3.1 miles, all the way from, over there behind Selma Street School to over near Medical Center. So it had traveled that far, and it ended up being, 5 injuries. So we had this technology already, but something kind of changed in my thought process after that happened, because it really did bother me. It bothered me, even though there's nothing we could do about it. It was things that were out of our control. We were depending on them to send us the message, but it still bothered me in a way that I said, we have to do better. So this led to this next conversation. I called it I Pause for Schools. So we have to be able to deliver the message faster, and we have to direct the message to who needs to know. So Commissioner Adams, you understand how critical chain of command is in the military, right? It's very, very important. But if there's a tornado at Rehoboth Schools, and you're deciding, because we have to decide between who needs to know first. Does the superintendent need to know, or does the principal of Rehoboth Schools need to know? And to me, the principal of Rehoboth Schools need to know first. They both need to know, but they need to know first. So that's what led to this next conversation. So with our old provider, this goes back to last summer. I was attending a Houston County School Safety meeting with Smith there, and I was listening. It was all assistant principals in there, and they were developing their own plans. And it hit me like, the way school systems work, in my mind, it was like one plan, but it's really not, because each school is set up different, and the layout and the amount of students is totally different. So they were all writing their own plans. And after the meeting, I spoke with Ms. Smith and said, what if we could target each school directly? Because we can build templates inside of this program. We can pre-build templates for every school ahead of time. So that's what I did. I built 55 templates inside of it last summer. And that includes a drill template that says, hey, we're just doing a tornado drill as a test, and then a real template saying it's a tornado. So I built those last year, started testing those over the summer. This is working with the school superintendents and principals, and they've been great and very open to this concept. We were even invited to some tornado drills. I remember in Ashford, we were sitting there, and we were actually sitting there with my iPad. I was able to send the alert. The school administration got it, got the kids in the hallway. So the way I look at it is, the principals know their own emergency plans. Even the administrator, any administration, teachers, they know their emergency plans. They know how to protect the students. I'm just saying, now's the time to do that. Now is the time. So we played around some different language on what we needed to say in this message. So this is kind of what we come up with is very direct. So as you see on this map, this is exactly what the template was for Ashford Schools. And as you know, it's 3 different schools. It's elementary, it's middle, and it's the high school. So with that shape file that I drew there, we have to be able to send it to all three. We can't dissect each one that way. So it's real simple. It says Ashford Schools, activate your severe weather plan immediately. I'm just saying, do it now. It's the time. So going back to Dothan Prep, had we had this system in place at the time, we would have sent this message to Selma Street and to Dothan Preparatory Academy. And people have asked me before, why haven't we done this before? It's because I didn't think of it until last summer. So That's just the truth of it, is that we're using the technology. We've had the technology, but we're using it in a different way. So anybody within that circle, and yes, it will bleed out over into the neighborhoods. They'll get the same message, but also we can overlay different messages throughout. It's not just for schools. It's not just for people in Houston County. It's everybody. But I can sit there looking at a map and I already have another program that has every school mapped out on it. I can see the track of where it's going and be able to alert schools down the path as it goes. So that leads to really what the future of emergency messaging is. It's not just that I can send this out. The future of emergency messaging is what's in the middle of that screen. It is that phone. Everybody has it. It can alert, it can notify, it can be clear, it can be concise, it's easily understood. I can target specific locations. It's for Houston County schools, Houston County citizens. I can tell them the what, the who, the where, and the when. And that is the future of emergency messaging.
All right.
Any questions?
I have a question. Great presentation first. But when we do the principals, are the assistant principals going to be tagged in with that? Because a lot of times the principals are at other locations doing their duties.
So let me go back to the map. So when I drew that, anybody that's within that circle will get that message. So even teachers, and I know, and also with students, I know that's a thing for this school year was they couldn't have their phones, but teachers, if they have access to their phones, administrators, anybody within that shape is getting. It's not just going to principals. If the principal's sick that day and there's an assistant principal, they're getting it too.
That's what we need to do.
Anybody there is getting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, will you clarify a little bit on, does the public have to go in or y'all doing it by geofencing?
Okay, so we have a lot of different, things at our disposal, I could say, to get out information. We have our app, we have social media, we have our website. But for this one, now, unless you went in there and disabled this on your phone, some people have done that. When you buy a brand new phone, this is automatically turned on. You don't have to do anything. So that's another advantage. We don't really have to talk you into doing it. Hey, if anybody's in there, and it doesn't matter if you're from out of town, if you're from Boston and you're down here to meeting with family, visiting with family, you're getting the message too.
Yeah. I appreciate you and your staff for looking toward the future. Because I live a mile-ish or so from one of the sirens, and it depends on the time of day, weather conditions, if I hear that siren or not.
Right.
And at night, when I'm asleep, I'm definitely not going to hear it.
Right. And that's another point on sirens is that, doing some research, because I've got this question a lot about sirens, is that, okay, so the brand sirens that we have out there are Whelen sirens. And if you didn't know, they're about 25 to 30 years old, most of them, depending on when they were put in. And if you were to buy a brand new siren off the shelf, it reaches 6,000 feet, which is 1.1 miles. And there are 582 square miles in Houston County. So it don't really add up per se, right? Yeah. And also you talk about hearing it when you sleep. That's the most important thing. It's not just if you're out and about or you're in the office or you're at home and it's during the day where you have multiple ways to receive it, but what can wake you up at night? And that phone, if you ever heard an Amber Alert at 2 a.m, it will wake you up. And going back to sirens, at that distance, at that 1.1 miles, they equate if you're indoors, because remember, sirens I even refer to as outdoor warning systems. So if you're indoors and you're 1.1 miles away, they equate that to 70 decibels, which is the sound of a vacuum cleaner running. It's not, a vacuum cleaner is not going to wake me up in the middle of the night. So we need things that can wake people up and tell them what to do and where to go.
One more question, Mark. When that thing goes off, so you're saying the tornado is within 1 mile of you?
For the siren or for this?
For this?
For this, what we're going to do is we're going to project it along the path. So what the Weather Service can do, they can send out a polygon that's usually like, almost like a cone shape. It's kind of the path. But what I can do is I can send a larger shape to that area. It's as soon as I get it, I'm projecting what schools are in that area and what public I need to warn. And I can give you plenty of warning to get the kids in the hallway if you're home, to get for yourself to get in the bathroom or in an interior room. So it doesn't mean it's necessarily a mile away, because the Weather Service typically gives us a little more heads up, but I can project along that path as I need way out, 15, 20 minutes sometimes.
That's good. So Mark, you'll be the one sending out that signal as MA director?
Yes, well, all of my staff, we all have access to doing that. So it's one of us will be sending that out. A couple of weeks ago, if you remember, we had on a Sunday, we had some. It was one of those things. It was, it wasn't really worth like Mr. Ivy always comes to the full activation. We didn't activate the EOC fully. We came in with just the four of us because it seemed like where it's really cold and it got really warm right back to back. So we actually came in and any of us can send out those messages. You know, I actually have an iPad that can send it out, but all of us have permissions. All of us have done the testing, training, ability to use that.
Yeah, it's good.
Any other questions or comments?
Good.
Thank you so much. I will say this, one thing I've always appreciated you and your style of leadership is you're always asking how can we do things better? And I mean, it's obvious to me that this is better than what we have now. So, and am I correct? We have this ability now. This is not something that's coming up a year from now. We have this.
Absolutely. We have an ability now. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the regular agenda, which is very brief. Item number 1 is a request to approve annual Alabama Alcoholic Beverage Control Board license fees for Houston County.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ivey, second by Commissioner Adams. Any questions on this item or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 2 is a request to appoint Ms. Megan Dorsey and Ms. Tamara Myers to the Dothan Houston County Library System Board.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Herring, second by Commissioner Adams. Questions or discussion on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item number 3 is a request to adopt resolution authorizing notice of public hearing and meeting to address amendments to the subdivision regulations for Houston County, Alabama.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ivey, second by Commissioner Harvey. Questions or discussion? I do have one item. Press, I was looking through this morning and I did not see anything in there about grandfathering in existing lots. Was that put in there or does it need to be put in there? Or is it just kind of implied to be there? I just want to clarify that.
The regulations in effect on the date that someone comes to plat a piece of property are the regulations they have to apply to.
I
So
got you.
by default, the grandfathering in would begin once the regulations would be
So
approved.
we don't have to add that language to this. It's already implied to be in there.
Yes,
I got it.
if you wanted to give a window of time, you could sunset the prior regulations for a period of time.
I think that's what we might want to do.
Yes.
But we don't have to have that in the regulations. We can just say this will be effective January 1st if we do it of next year.
The other point is I think the commission needs to set the time and date for the public hearing. I think that's the only thing.
Okay, so we had talked about this before, so the time, the date would be 9:30 a.m. and the date would be March the 9th. Am I correct on that, Ms. Jack? Okay, so March 9th, 9:30 a.m. I expect us to have several people show up in attendance to that and probably have some questions. And we will not adopt these resolutions that day. We'll just hold a public hearing. And if the commission chooses to adopt either the regulations that have been presented or a modified version of that, that will be at a future commission. Any questions or discussion on this item?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes. Staff reports. Madam Chief Administrative Officer,
No reports.
Mr. County Engineer.
We've got Foreclosure Road, Cedar Springs, Sweet Smith, State Line and County Road 95.
Okay.
And we'll be paving the next 2 weeks on Old Well, East Cook, Judge Load, and Sweetie Smith.
Okay.
And we're doing the shoulder work on Fernie Folks right now, currently, and then we will move to Old Well, to East Cook and Rice on shoulder work. So there's a lot going on the next.
Good. Good deal. Thank you. Mr. County Attorney. All right. Any questions for the staff by members of the commission?
No, sir.
Being no further business to adjourn, entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Okay, you courtesy of Jeff.
Yeah, ready to go.
Ready.
Eric's trying to beat